Fury, first of all, when you first started editing V, we jumped on a Zoom. We was working, and you were like in your Heath Ledger bag, like you was kind of method acting, like you was about to go into this really dark place. Um, so my question is, what mindset were you in, or what mindset did you feel you had to go in to this video?
I feel like I had to do justice to Mike and at the same time do injustice to Mike. So it was like trying really hard to depict him and his crimes and what the song stands for, which is literally 5V, 5 victims, and do that in a way that didn't make him look like a rock star, didn't make him look cool, didn't have anything sexy about it, but was still a great video and was still a cool and artistic video. And that was extremely hard to do. I tried a lot of different things, and a lot of them didn't work. At one point, I called up Mike, actually. Well, he called me. I can't call him. And he's like, try different shards of glass, try to have me break into a million pieces. And that ended up kind of being used with the text, how it breaks apart. But there were a lot of directions that I tried going down. And then it really became about the sticking to the simple thing that works, which is like always go back to the road, always go back to the vanishing point, that like just the endless road, and then the pictures coming at you. And once I got to that simple method, then the rest of the video pretty much fell into shape. But even at that point, it was still really hard to do. Like maybe I was all in my Heath Ledger bag because it's just a heavy ass thing to edit and to think about. And like, whether Michael Tenneson is a completely different person 35 years later, which I would make an argument that he is in so many ways, it doesn't change the fact that in 1987 these things happened. And I know you would agree with that too, Mike. You were basically just saying that. So like it's not like the fact that I know Mike pretty well now and have worked with him for what, 5 years and all that, it's not necessarily comforting in a way, because that stuff still happened and you're still trying to make a video to depict the song about specifically those things.
Right, right. And I noticed that so in the beginning, the pictures are in front of static. And I feel like it's like a build up or a story being told in the background of each of the pictures. What does the static, what did that represent for you?
It was, well, first of all, little Easter egg. It's the same static used in Headed and Sigs.
Mm-hmm.
So I like working with what I got, first of all, just as an artist. I'm a scrappy guy. So that was cool. It was just a cool visual. But I wanted to have some kind of a canvas, some kind of a palette for the photos to react to appear on top of, to vibe with, to complement. And it just felt weird just having the photos just come at you, because they're still images. Most of them are scans. Some of them I actually filmed like on a TV and then made them look like still images, but they're basically still not, whether they're scans or films, they're still images. So they needed to have some kind of friction, and the TV worked great. I made the road black and white, and then having the TV black and white, naturally black and white, it was just cool. And obviously it's, it's a little bit symbolic. I'll let the viewers kind of like draw their own lines connecting the dots, but I mean, he had a fucked up life. So
yeah, so no, as a viewer, I took it like the static is friction, unknown friction. Like something's about to happen here. We just don't know what, but it's not a clear, smooth picture. It's not fucking Happy Days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing in the back.
Well,
It's something happening, and it's not a positive thing, but we're not sure because the picture is not whole yet. That's how I kind of took it as a viewer.
Yeah.
Same with the. Go ahead.
No, just actually Royal, our publicist, and my brother, I tip of the hat to, because they encouraged me to basically like make it a story, like build it up. So you see Mike as a kid, and you might think like, oh, who's this cute kid? He's got this guitar, he's got a dog. And then as the images keep coming, you're like, oh, wait a second, like, why does he look so pissed off when he's graduating high school? You know what I mean? And then in verse 2, it's like, oh, okay, this dude done fucked up.
Same with the interview part where
Yeah.
lightning in the thick clouds, right? So the interview part is after the fact, technically, but I still within the song it's like midway. So it's still like, again, something looming, something dark, something happening. And it could be after the storm, and it could just be like the thick ass clouds. But I felt like the background was telling the story just as much as the front piece of it, like just as much as the pictures. And Tenneson, you would have to see it again to like probably, see everything for what it means to you. So I didn't want to get into the weeds with you about like
it's like
things.
this
But
whole ominous dark cloud just building, the shit's about ready to hit the fan. And that's kind of what happened back in the mid 80s.
yeah, what stood out to you visually when you saw the video? What's one of the things that like stood out, or one of the things that you can remember right now as I'm asking the question?
What's a lot of the darkness that was building? It was like a storm building. And it's metaphorical for what was going on in the 80s. I got out of the joint, 83, screwed up on parole, came back a couple months later. I absconded and left the state. And then got out in 85, same thing. Had a year left, got out. Each time this happened, I got more and more frustrated, more and more angry. All I was trying to do is leave the state, get out of that fucked up town I was living in. Had a horrible reputation. I just wanted to get away and start over. Had a parole officer with a vendetta, didn't want to let me out, let me go, and I didn't handle it right. But I did what I did. And the entire time, all this stuff was building up. 86, when I got out, it's finally, wow, I'm finally free. Nothing you can do anymore. I'm discharged. And then they dropped an old check forgery case on me. I forgot about it. The day I discharged, the sheriff picked me up. I thought I was gone. I was going to go down to Mexico. That lady I was going to marry down there too. I'd been writing for a couple of years. Came and see me several times. I was going to start over. I mean, seriously, I just finally get the hell out of here, just start over somewhere else. Nobody knows me. I'm just going to go down there and do a completely different life. And then they held me up, took me to the county jail. Some things happened in the jail. No excuses or nothing. I mean, this whole storm thing is just building in my head. I didn't have a mechanism inside the coping tools to deal with it. Every time I'd start getting these pressures, I go get high. I go start drinking. Worst thing I could do, then I'm really not thinking straight. I'm already fucked up because I'm emotionally disturbed and insecure and all kinds of things going on. A little kid basically in a grown man's body emotionally. And I had a meltdown. I just completely went off the deep end. Finally, when the storm broke, I called my mom one night. I walked away from the county jail off a work release that they gave me on this check case that I felt was wrong and I should have never had anyway, which is bullshit. I deserved it. I earned it. I should have owned it, done it, and moved on in my life. Well, I called my mom up one night and I says, hey, she says, where the hell are you at? I says, XYZ. She says, you need to get your ass back to the jail. They said, you better get back there. They're going to send you back to prison. I said, Mom, just let me come home tonight, clear my head. She said, no, you get your fucking ass back to the jail or don't you ever come back here again. And right then something snapped. I says, well, fuck you then, man. Boom, I slammed it. I said, the next time you see me, I'll either be dead or on fucking TV. And I hung up. I walked off, man. That's the night I broke into that house and killed them 3 people. It's crazy, insanity, just crazy. I can't even wrap my head around it anymore. I really can't. But that's the stuff that happened. When I look at this, I see this, some of them pictures that came back, I see the young ones when I was a little boy. Like I said earlier, man, I'm thinking, how the hell did I go from that to this? And there is a linear progression. I see it today. It's a rhetorical question at this point. But I see this pattern over and over and over. And the sad thing is I see it over and over and over in my peers. I see so many of these stories in their eyes. I see it everywhere. And today the answer is clear. I see where it happened, how it happened. And if I had the right people intervene at the right time in my life, they could have pulled me out of that. They could have showed me, Michael, you're in a really bad place. You need to turn it around. I didn't have that mentor in my life at the time. So a lot of these guys are just melting down and they're blowing up in their little communities out there because they don't have anybody to pull them aside and say, hey, man, wake up. There's a better way.